Though Dustin had set up a trap and had him captured, he could worm his way out of things if he did not admit to anything. But for Dustin, try as he might, was making futile attempts. How laughable! Are you done laughing yet? Do you think that there's nothing I can do to you? Dustin asked calmly. Well, what can you do? You can't possibly kill me, can you? Autumn scoffed. All the major sects in Valerno and Glenstead are gathered here. If you dare to touch a hair on my head, you'll be dead meat. Then he stretched out his throat to provoke Dustin and challenge him to kill him. So reads, what punishment should be for a man who kills his father? Dustin asked. He should be punishable by death. Of course, Ronald wondered why Dustin would ask him something like that. But he answered honestly. Should the person be killed? Yes. All right then, I shall kill him. Then Dustin drew out a sword. Amidst the crowd's astonished gazes, he sliced off Autumn's head. A deathly silence came over the crowd as Autumn's head fell to the ground. All the shouts and clamors died down. Ronald and Conrad were shocked. The Hill family, Jade Maiden Sisterhood, Boulderthorn, the Zen Order, the Combat Priests, the Soul Reapers, and all the martial artists present were shocked. Everyone gaped in disbelief. No one had expected Dustin to be so cruel. He had cut Autumn's head off in front of the entire Hill family, the Valerno and Glenstead martial alliances, and all the sects. Without any reason or explanation, he killed him like one would slaughter an animal. Then an uproar broke out. How dare you kill someone so openly, Dustin? You cocky bastard! He killed him to silence him. That's what he's doing. He has no conscience. Someone like him needs to be killed. Kill him. Avenge Sir Paul. Return the Hill family their honor. The crowd stomped their feet and cursed at him. He was already guilty of murder, and now he'd committed another. They would not allow such wicked and vile scum to exist in the martial world. They had to get rid of him. The dumbass is digging his own grave. The Jade Maiden Sisterhood snickered among themselves, enjoying the show. Dustin killing Autumn so openly was like adding fuel to the fire. Dustin had left himself with no way out now. You beast! How dare you kill my brother? The Hill family will never let you off. After coming back to his senses, Spring roared. You bastard! I'll kill you for murdering my father. Torben gritted his teeth in rage. Drawing his sword, he dashed up to Dustin, ready to kill Dustin even if it meant losing his life. But he had barely approached Dustin when Cornelius punched him and sent him flying. He struggled to stand up. Sir Reeds, this man is way too arrogant. First, he killed my father. Then he killed my brother. As a leader of the martial world, will you just stand by and watch? Spring looked at him. He would have personally led his men to Wipeout. Zephyr Lodge if it wasn't because he couldn't defeat Dustin. You're too boastful, Dustin. How can I protect you when you act so arrogantly? Ronald was furious too. As he spoke, he gradually released his energy. Strong gusts of wind blew around them, sending sand and dust into the air. Please calm down. Sir Reeds, you were the one who said that a son who kills his father deserves to be killed. So I just did as you said, Dustin said calmly. Nonsense! What do you mean that a son who kills his father deserves to be killed? That's all just your one-sided claim. What proof do you have? Spring demanded angrily. Exactly. You claim that Autumn's the murderer. But what proof have you got? Ronald frowned. You want proof? That's easy. Dustin gestured to his men. Two disciples of the Kieran gang quickly brought out a huge piece of white cloth and hung it at the entrance of Zephyr Lodge. Then they turned on a projector and played a video with the white cloth as a screen. The video was a recording of Autumn digging up the grave last night. It started with Autumn digging the grave and ended with him being knocked out. Everything that he had said and done was seen and heard. The crowd fell silent after saying that, their eyes fixed on the screen. The shock was evident on all their faces, and they struggled to come to terms with what they saw. They honestly never expected Autumn to be the real murderer. He had denied all accusations and insisted that he was innocent just a while ago. In the video footage, Adam appeared unbelievably full of himself. The malicious look on his face garnered a lot of resentment from everyone who saw it. Though they found it hard to believe, the truth was there for all to see. No matter how shocking it was, they could not deny it. "Do you see that, everyone?" Dustin looked around and said coldly. Adam's conscience has been shrouded by his greed. He would not even spare his father for power. Should a vile person like him not be killed? Dustin's question shut all of them up. Even those from the Hill family who had been livid were silenced. Spring froze after watching the video. Torben stood there, mumbling to himself, "How did things turn out this way? How could my father end up being my grandfather's murderer? That's impossible." He found it hard to believe that his father would commit such a vile act. He even went so far as to disregard family ties just for power and authority. It was outrageous. I had thought that Dustin was the murderer. Turns out there's a traitor within the Hill family. He can even bring himself to murder his father. What a monster! One can never judge a book by its covers. Who would have thought the ever-helpful and generous Sir Autumn was so despicable? The crowd whispered in hushed tones as they commented on the issue. The Hill family now ended up as the target of public criticism. Hold on. Just then, Edith came forward and voiced her doubts. "As far as I'm aware, Autumn is a weakling. How could he possibly assassinate a grandmother? Don't any of you find this weird?" That's right. Only a grandmother is capable of killing another grandmother. How could Autumn be able to do it? Maybe they've turned against each other, and someone's just thrown Autumn under the truck to save himself. Brittany seemed to be insinuating something. They didn't want Dustin to make it out of this alive. Even if it was baseless accusations, they made it a point to drag him through the mud. Exactly. With Autumn's powers, he can't even harm Sir Paul. How could he possibly have killed him? The onlookers started to doubt when they heard what Edith said. A grandmother was like a legendary figure. Regular martial artists could not harm them, much less assassinate them. That was something. Of course, Autumn could not have done it alone. Dustin glanced at the Jade Maiden Sisterhood. Then he continued, "Actually, someone else murdered Sir Paul." "Who is it?" Ronald frowned. "Dimitri Gonzalez, Shadowslayer's ace assassin." That was a shocking piece of information. The crowd was sent into an uproar again. Dimitri Gonzalez? Isn't he a Kimbokuan? Could Autumn have worked with Shadowslayer for power? He joined hands with foreign invaders and invited tragedy upon himself. He deserved to die. After hearing that Shadowslayer was involved, many of them were livid. It was vile enough of him to kill his father. And now they even discovered he was working with foreign invaders. He was a traitor to the country who deserved to die. No way. My father would never do such a thing. Torben shook his head furiously in denial. Autumn had committed to serious offenses that his reputation would be tarnished forever. HMPH, your father would kill his father for power. What wouldn't he do? Exactly. Your father is an evil monster. Scums like him deserve to be shredded into pieces. All the martial artists berated Autumn. Their view on the matter changed after seeing his true colors. Autumn might be a monster, but there is someone even worse than him, Dustin added. What do you mean? Ronald was curious. You probably do not know about this, Sir Reeds, but Autumn is just a pawn. There is someone controlling everything behind the scenes, and that person is the true murderer. Dustin revealed. What? There's someone behind all of this. Who is it? Ronald's face fell. Dustin looked around, and his gaze finally fell on someone at the center of the crowd. He raised a finger and pointed at him. That person is the leader of the Hill Brethren Spring Hill. As we all know, the Hidden Guards only answer to the Hill family emblem. How could Autumn get the Hidden Guards to obey him without your help? Dustin questioned. I have just taken over the family. There are bound to be mistakes.